Welcome back, and thanks for joining me while we recap day 3 of MAG40. If you haven't already seen day 1 and day 2, pause this one, go back and check out these previous videos. Just a relatively short summary of what we're doing here in Illinois for a fairly intense training class with Massad Ayoob and 18 other people who are wanting to learn more about self-defense. So day 3, another just about 9 pages of notes. Again, because of the temperature, we're talking almost record heat here in Illinois, about 50 miles south of Chicago. Before we go any farther, though, I really do want to thank the Illinois State Rifle Association. We're using their range, and they're assisting with us on the range and putting on just a phenomenal experience. Fortunately, the clubhouse where we're getting their classroom portion is air conditioned, but even the range itself, I'll try to roll a couple of pictures in here. The range itself is a covered facility. I've actually got a couple of pictures of, I'll try to blur out any faces that come in here, but the group talking to Massad Ayoob, doing between every range drill, we were actually doing some debriefing on the drill and talking about what we're going to be doing next, and some fairly intensive range session. We actually shot, I think I counted about 180 rounds today, which for some that's a lot of shooting. In a 3.5 hour range session a day, probably no big deal for some. I'll shoot that much in a couple hours at home, but anyway, I digress. Let's see, I was talking about the Illinois State Rifle Association book. Again, really great people, and they're feeding us lunch, which kind of surprised me. I'd expected to bring my own sack lunch because we do a working lunch. We're working in the classroom right on through lunch. Massad is still giving us the lecture component of the course through the lunch. But anyway, they put on a pretty good spread. It's a little something different every day, and a nice touch not having to bring my own Lunchables or whatever. All right, so we started out on the range, and today we started out with one-handed shooting. And I know a lot of people don't practice one-handed. I think I did a video a while back after I blew my shoulder out. I was expecting, I had scheduled for shoulder surgery, so I did a lot of practice with my secondary hand only. And because I had to, that's the only way I could shoot for 6 months or so while I was still recovering from the shoulder surgery. But here we're shooting one-handed primary hand, one-handed secondary hand. Got into, do you hold the gun straight up or do you angle it? And I think they called the angle one a McMillan type position. Again, that's something that I have done, but people need to practice more with that, and you really need to be able to work with both hands just in case. Then we got into shooting from low cover. Now, a lot of people shoot from standing regular cover, but if you've only got low cover, which is more going to be more prevalent necessarily than your standing type high cover. So we got into the cover crouch. Then we did high kneeling and we did low kneeling. And for some people, it's kind of hard to get back into or out of those, but we made it work. But the balance, mobility, and so forth from being able to work in a low position of cover, we're going to have to do that during our qualification. Every one of these exercises, too, we started out shooting slow fire, the basic course, whether it's a 6-round course or an 18-round course. We did slow, then we did timed, the time that we're going to have in the qualification component, and then rapid. Just shoot as fast as you could shoot accurately. And we got a variety of firearms out there, a variety of skill levels. Then we went to the 15-yard stage, which is going to be the maximum distance we're going to shoot. Qualifications coming up tomorrow, and we shot that stage a number of times. Now, the way qualification is going to work, as I understand it, we've got to be able to shoot 6 rounds from a regular weaver position. Now, I think I mentioned in a previous video, I shoot modified weaver, so getting into a real weaver, or at least what I perceive to be real weaver, and what they've explained, is not something that is my comfort zone. And I certainly, Chapman stance is not my comfort zone at all. But we've got to do that with the idea that we need to know the adaptations for those. We also need to be able to know that if we're teaching other people, then there's no such thing as one size fits all. There are other positions, other techniques that may work better for some than for others. So 6 rounds Weaver, 6 rounds Chapman, and finally 6 rounds isosceles. And trying to figure out which one's the most comfortable. So, like everything else, we did the exercise with slow fire, then the timed fire within the time limits will have a qualification, which by the way is 90 seconds. Turns out most people were wrapping that up in, I think it was 58 seconds pretty much, whether it was slow fire or the timed fire. And rapid fire, again, we want to kick in, kind of kick the speed up a little bit, but you want to be able to shoot only as fast as you can shoot accurately. And we're going to be doing that tomorrow. So again, we're looking at hits on that. And we're using the USPSA target. I did some practice a while back on the IDPA target with an 8-inch circle. Well, USPSA has got a different A zone. So you got very little, or much less lateral forgiveness than you do on the IDPA target. And then we moved into the classroom. We talked about tactical anatomy, discussion of bullet performance, and a couple of things. Again, I teach a lot of the stuff in my CPL classes, but terminology and words actually mean things. We talk about center of mass. Everybody talks about shooting at the center of mass. Well, where's the center? Well, not what most people think. So one thought is to, where really do you aim to get the most effect? Well, aim at where you're going to push for on the chest for CPR. Good aim point. We looked at again, terminology. Some people talk about headshots. We did have a discussion on that, and then pelvic shots. Again, I wasn't a big proponent of that, but the more we get into that, the more a lot of this makes sense, with some caveats, because a lot of people end up shooting low. So if you aim for what has been traditionally called the center of mass, or the center of the torso area, and you shoot low, you may hit the pelvis. Unfortunately, if you aim for the pelvis and you shoot low and your bullet ricochets off the ground somewhere, now with good ammunition, hopefully it's going to reduce a lot of velocity, and with good hollow point ammunition, maybe less likely to ricochet, but there are some other issues of that. So we talked about all of those things. And then we got into some human performance dynamic issues. How fast can somebody turn? How fast can you go through the OODA loop if you're trained for anticipated stimulus or unexpected stimulus? How long does it take to do that? And again, people call it the OODA loop, from what was explained in class today. The founder, the originator of the Observe, Orient, Decide, Act OODA loop doesn't want to call it OODA loop. And hey, he's the one that started it, so he's the one that coined it. He gets to say what it's called. So it's a OODA loop. And we had a working lunch and another good feed put on by the Illinois State Rifle Association folks. It makes the working lunch a little bit more, well, palatable, instead of just sitting around and trying to eat a box lunch. Anyway, we already covered that. Then we got into a lot of stuff that is what to do after the shooting. And again, that's a lot of what I do in my class here, but the way that it's presented in this MAG40 class, there's stuff that I'm rethinking some of the things that I've been presenting, or at least finding ways to augment them, make them a little clearer. So we ran beyond our 10 hours today, and just because there was a lot that we had to cover. And then a short briefing on what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 4, and we're going to be doing a range test. This is a qualification, and it's a cold qualification, no warm-ups. Did all our practice today, going into it tomorrow, 60-shot qual, and we'll see how that works out. I did get permission to film mine. If I can get everything set up, we'll try to make that happen tomorrow. Then we go into the class for more classroom, and we have to take a written test that we do have to pass in order to be able to successfully complete MAG40. So we'll do one more wrap up tomorrow with terrible hotel lighting and hopefully the qualification course. And if you like this series, let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see. I'm probably not going to be going to a lot of these rather expensive training sessions, but hey, got a suggestion, I'm open for it. Once again, thanks for stopping in while we look at day 3 of MAG40.